The true nature of our very being is to be in harmony. Welcome, everyone, to the Center for Spiritual Living Boulder Valley Mystic Moments. We're always so happy that you've joined us. And, this is just a time to put everything aside and focus on some spiritual principles. Because as they say from the 80s, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And as a New Thought minister, I'm Reverend Jody Stevenson, by the way, and as a New Thought minister, I have always loved philosophy. I've loved studying it, and I love speaking about it and teaching about it and counseling about it. But I always want to know how does that work in my life? So, it must have been about almost 20 years ago now. I was speaking at a church in Bend, Oregon, and I stood up and I said, would all of you who have ever sinned, please raise your hand? Not one person raised their hands. And then I said, for all of you, any of you in this room who have ever made a mistake, raise your hand. Every hand went up. And I said, well, let me ask this again in a different way. How many of you have ever sinned and not one person would raise their hand? Now, I was in a New Thought church, and a lot of people were taught as children that they were original sinners just for being born. No wonder we have so many therapists who have had long careers. To be taught that you are a mistake is a big mistake. Big mistake. Sin, the word sin is a Greek word, and it literally means to miss the mark. To miss the mark. You know, the archers, when they pull out their arrow and then they let go and they don't hit the bullseye, that's called missing the mark. That's a sin. How many of us have missed the mark? How many of us have missed the mark in our life? Oh my God, let me give you my list, and my children could give you even a longer list. Of course, I've made mistakes, and so have you. Of course, you've missed the mark. But have you sinned? I don't think so. By definition, but not by connotation. There is no such thing. Dr. Ernest Holmes really rejected the idea of the moral nature of sin. He definitely was against it. He said, I have always taught there is no sin but ignorance, following the belief of Emerson. Ralph Waldo Emerson used to speak about having no sin, that it is a sin to think you're a sin. Ernest Holmes goes on, this enables us to understand the meaning of evil and sin, which are experiences fabricated by the misconception or the reverse use of the law. The reverse use of the universal law that all is good. Ignorance is the only sin there is. It creates hell, devils, limitation, and sickness. And I would add, it creates the perception of hell, devils, limitation, and sickness, because in truth, there are no limitations. We just miss the mark sometimes. Sometimes we're ignorant. So over the years, I have taught many classes on communications. And one of my presuppositions, and a presupposition is a statement that may or may not be true, but this one is true. although it's still a presupposition. And one of the things I say is all human beings are doing the best they can at any given moment. And oh my God, I can't even begin to tell you the pushback. People, oh, that's BS. And I always think they're meaning belief system. And I don't think they really mean that when they say that. So I say to them, so look back at a time when you made a mistake or you did something that hurt another human being. And they go, yeah. I go, well, why did you do that? What's the reason you would do that? You're a good person. You're a beautiful soul. And they would say, I didn't know any better. I go, well, that's my point. Ignorance, however, as Dr. Ernest Holmes would say, is no excuse. But sin is only missing the mark. And oh my gosh, when I get the awareness that I have just missed the mark, oh, is that a learning experience? And at that time, it is always devastating to the ego, but so delicious to the soul. Guaranteed every time. The soul goes, oh, I'm really glad to know that I do that, or I've done that, or I am doing that. And the ego's like, oh my God, I am a sinner. No, you're not. You're making a mistake. It's okay. Get over it. Ernest Holmes says, there is no sin but a mistake, and no punishment but a consequence. God does not punish sin. As we correct our mistakes, we forgive ourselves for our own sins. So in the early part of the 90s, Matthew Fox, who I believe was he was a theologian, but I think he was Episcopalian. And he really started to redefine the definition of sin. So many people are taught that they are original sinners just because they're born. Oh, that drives me crazy. Well, it drove him crazy enough to do something about it. And he wrote a beautiful book called Original Blessings. Think about that. You are an original blessing because you are an individualized expression of the divine. There's nothing wrong with you. You're going to screw up, I promise, but that doesn't make you bad or wrong. Certainly doesn't make you a sinner. Original blessing. When you hold that to be true, your whole life will begin to change. And those areas where you've struggled, they begin to just like even out. So I am an original blessing, completely transforms the idea that I'm bad and wrong and terrible. I have never met a truly happy, peaceful person who has the belief that they are an original sinner just because they're born. That's a really big mistake, whoever put that out there. But whoever did, they didn't know any better. But we do. So don't believe that. According to the science of mind, original sin or the fall was only symbolic. Events and characters in the fall, every time we fall and we make a mistake, are interpreted as symbols of some particular religious science belief. Thus, death and sin never, ever is true. Ever. To be taken literally, Dr. Ernest Holmes would say, is absolutely ridiculous. So, how many of you are sinners? Just say it loudly and proudly. Oh, I am. Oh, my God. Oh, I miss the mark all the time. It's okay. It's fine. Because who you are is an individualized expression of the divine, and you are so beautiful, and you are so capable, and you are here to do good in the world and to do your share of uplifting the consciousness of humanity in ways that only you could do that. Nobody else can. So just say yes to that. You are not a sinner. You are a blessing. So this week, Go out, have a wonderful week. Laugh at yourself when you miss the mark. You go, oh, there I am again. And feel your ego going, oh, God, here I am again. I'm making a mistake. It's okay. Let your soul feel delicious at your understanding of it. I love you dearly. Come and join us every week. Mystic Moments. Please tithe. Please contribute. Please donate to the Center for Spiritual Living Boulder Valley. We want to keep going and offering you many programs. We're getting so excited about the online program that's emerging. Have a great week, everyone. I love you dearly.